What is going on, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? The ACMJS Gamer here. Today, we're here to go over everything we know about Starfield so far. I have several articles that are lined up that basically cover everything that is not in this particular article. This is kind of a basics generic article, and we'll go through all of the rest of them. So to start off, supposedly, the release date is September 6, 2023. That is the official release date by Bethesda. If this is subject to change, it will probably be at the Starfield Direct live stream, which, as we know, will take place on June 11th. Apparently, it'll feature tons of new gameplay, dev interviews, behind-the-scenes insider information. We should be able to expect a pretty thorough survey of everything that is Starfield-based. Now, if you were worried about the cost, for everybody else, it'll be about $70. On Game Pass, it will be however much Game Pass costs, which will be cheaper than the $70. But if you want to permanently own Starfield without having to do a monthly subscription, it will be that hefty $70. Then we get into the skills. The skill system, you'll choose which ones to level up. Each gain additional ranks as they are used to provide more benefits. A crafting system will let players modify and customize their spaced guns. Players will be able to establish outposts as they explore. And then Todd Howard, brings in the big guns and unveils Starfield's ship customization, which will let you make your own dream ship to fly between Starfield's 1,000 explorable planets. Continuing on, Starfield ships, guns, and player customizable. As shown in Bethesda's gameplay reveal, which if you haven't seen, you should go check out. I have a video of me reacting to it, as well as the Xbox video where Todd Howard showcases this a couple of years ago. Players can completely customize the look, layout, and performance of their spacecraft with tons of ship customization options, which we'll get into the specifics of that in a separate article. Using the game's shipbuilding tools, you'll be able to place and customize individual modules from different ship manufacturers, assembling your ideal spaceship piece by piece based off of each module's aesthetics and attributes. A similar crafting system will let players modify and customize their arsenal of space firearms. A glimpse of in-game crafting mechanics showed researchable mods for a submachine gun, offering potential barrel, grip, optic, and muzzle customization options. Sounds like MW2. So then we get into creation skills and traits. We saw some templates, body shapes and sizes, skin tones, and hairstyles for your character's physical appearance, but didn't see exactly how detailed the face customization options are. You'll choose a background from options like Combat Medic, Bouncer, Professor, or Homesteader, all of which come with 3 starting skills. Let's see, you'll unlock new skills as you level up and then upgrade those skills by using them or completing challenges, quote-unquote. This kind of sounds like... I always forget the specific game. Oh, it was a Cyberpunk. The more that you use a specific weapon, the more adept you become at using it. Starfield also has traits, another system familiar from past games. These are optional choices for your character that come with pros and cons. Spaced, quote-unquote, gives you increased health and endurance while in space, but decreased on the surface, for instance. According to Howard, these traits are problems you can solve if you get sick of them. Each trait will apparently have an optional quest to nullify it, removing both its positive and negative effects. Some particularly interesting traits include Dream Home, Hero Worshipped, and Kid Stuff. Dream Home, at the beginning of the game, you can own a house on a peaceful planet, but you have to pay a $50,000 mortgage every week. Hero Worshipped, you've earned the attention of an annoying, adoring fan who will show up randomly and jabber at you incessantly. On the plus side, he'll give you gifts. Sounds interesting. Kid Stuff, your parents are alive and well. You can visit them at their home. 10% of all the money you earned is deducted automatically and sent to them. This is stuff that's kind of interesting to me. It's funny. Traits will also reflect some of Starfield's religions, including one that worships a space serpent as you do. These are chosen during character creation, have a couple of traits linked to them. Raised Universal is a trait that gives you a discount at the church store, but means you can't use the Enlightened store. Interesting. Enlightened may be another religion or perhaps a group of space atheists, we're not sure yet, but this indicates that choosing one religious background probably puts you in conflict with others to start. what mechanics are there from previous games. NPCs can be pickpocketed, shown in only a single frame of the Starfield gameplay reveal. A pickpocket prompt appears when a pirate steps in front of the crouching player character, visible for barely a fraction of a second before the pirate is perforated with space bullets. Lock picking is back too. This was all shown in the gameplay reveal. If you're going by the name, there is a persuasion minigame. I've covered that entire video and article on my channel as well. It's more involved than Oblivion's pie chart. You have to think about, what is my risk here. We didn't want there to be a system where there's definitely a right thing to say, which is very interesting. A lot of people, probably me, are going to overthink a lot of the things that we say in conversations in-game. You'll be able to join factions. Their quest lines will be independent from each other, unlike the Fallout 4 factions that locked you out of other quest lines once you decided to join one faction. You can build outposts. Look familiar to base building from Fallout 4 and 76. We don't have any specifics yet. Companions. Vasco, the robot, also in the gameplay. Sounds like he's more of a workhorse with storage capacity and a variety of gear to aid you in exploration. He still has weapons, though, so he'll be able to assist you in a fight. There was confirmed robots are enemies. I think that was on a Reddit post. And then there will be no multiplayer. 1,000 planets made possible with a mix of handcrafted content and procedural generation. Each planet can be landed on and explored on foot. If you haven't seen the interview with Todd Howard and Felix, that is a good interview to watch. They go in depth about how Todd is talking about how they designed each planet. They kind of handcrafted these tiles and they wrapped the planet in these tiles. So they were saying that the 1,000 planets, I believe, are a good thing that there's a hard cap, because there's less room for you to see the same planet or the same type of vegetation or whatever, which is very interesting. Starfield will have more handcrafted content than any Bethesda game. Starfield will be playable in both first and third person perspectives. It's kind of like Skyrim in terms of the structure of the game, where you're going to be who you want to be, and then there's different factions you can join and really carve out your own path. And then it will be moddable. He said in no unclear terms that, like Bethesda's previous single-player game, Starfield will be moddable. Our plan is to have full mod support like our previous games. Our modding community has been with us for 20 years. We love what they do and hope to see more make a career out of it. So that is the first article, the whole generic thing that is over and done with. Now we have the second article, which is specifics of the ship customization. You will realize on some of these I didn't go through and highlight them because I kind of just want to go through it all. This one I guess I did highlight. So there are lots of different ship parts, many made by different manufacturers, their own style, each have their own cost, health, and mass rating. Some are even locked behind certain player skill unlocks. There's even a color picker for editing the exact hues on each piece. So the specific skill unlocks very similar to Fallout 76 in terms of the armor that you could build and use. We saw a glimpse at how the customization works. Players pull up a menu that places their ship on a blueprint schematic with dozens of specs to help tweak it. Confirmed parts include the cockpit, cowls, cannons, engines, fuel tanks, landers, and reactors. Each part and paint job has a listed price, though, so be prepared to save up for something nice. And as you can see here, there's an example of the blueprint that we saw in-game. On the ship customization screen, there's 11 pieces of essential data that communicate vital information about your rig. Here's the list of what those are: LAS, BAL, MSL, hull, shield, cargo, crew, jump range, mobility, top speed, and mass. We're assuming here that the acronyms stand for laser ballistic missiles for types of weapons, hull and shield, your ship's health. You can fit crew members on your ship. How far you can jump through space, how easily it moves through space, of course your weapon capability. There is some form of space combat, and then we have other identifiers. Reactor power, we don't know what those bars are. Make an educated case assume that these are weapons, an engine shield, potentially a gravity boost. Been confirmed you can pilot Starfield ships in first person, but how about fighting? Yes, there's confirmed space combat. So that was part of the ships, and now we go to the planets and level restrictions. This was something that was very interesting, again, from the Lex Friedman podcast, where he talked about how there are different sectors or levels, or there are higher levels of regions than others. And they say they are all grouped by level, creating different tiers of difficulty for you depending on where you go or try to go. There's a real risk-reward vibe to this setup. There's over 1,000 systems. There's going to be, players can expect a rough average of 10 planets to visit per star system. Certain systems will belong to certain factions, while others may be unclaimed or even fought over. Not everywhere is going to be inhabited, though. So then we have all of the systems so far. You can pause the video and read through all of these. I'm not going to read through all these because I kind of don't want to spoil the entire story. I just kind of want to get a gist for the game. But there you go. There's all of the star systems. One of Starfield's ship customization stats is jump range, or light years, which likely shows how far a ship can jump through the galaxy, so your range will have to match or exceed the distance to a system you want to reach. If it does, you can then jump to that system. It's possible there's other ways, but we feel pretty confident in assuming what that stat means. So the levels and how they work, as I mentioned earlier, they have levels that serve as a means to control difficulty and gatekeeping as you play. Game group star systems by level so players know where to go. Game director, he explained it. It'll be like when you look at a map on a game, be like, this is the area for low level players, this is a level 1. So we do this on a star system basis. It's not made entirely clear whether these will be hard gates, aka that require players to reach a certain level to get inside, or whether they will simply be recommendations. Yeah, Assassin's Creed Origins definitely had this, where you can go into the higher levels of any region you want, but you will absolutely get your butt kicked. So then we go to the factions and how they work. You can join all of the factions at once with no fear of allegiance to one locking you out of another, although that's not to say Starfield rivals might not have opinions on you playing all the sides. Previous games like Fallout 4 made you choose eventually. Here are the different factions: Constellation, which are explorers, and the default option. I do believe you start out as working for Constellation. Crimson Fleet, Space Pirates. I'm hoping that, you know, it would be interesting to me what it would be like to actually go through and do what most people will end up doing, and doing all of the quest lines for every faction. And then it would be interesting to me to see somebody go through and just do one. And for me, it would be the Crimson Fleet, just do that one. Freestar Collective, Frontier Separatists, Ryujin Industries, Mega Corporation, United Colonies, Powerful Republic. So those are the five different factions you can join. Various components of the ship customization come from specific vendors, and factions will likely provide specific or unique gear for members. One of the beginning trade options has you choose between Raised Enlightened or Universal, which lets you play as a member of one or two religious orders. You'll get a discount on one group's vendors at the cost of being barred from the other. Constellation faction appears to be the default choice that players have to join, at least initially. Their exploration organization, charting new worlds and generally pushing out into the wilds of space. Crimson Fleet, like we said, Space Pirates, appears to be two ways you can join them, either as an actual pirate, which would be cool, or going undercover on behalf of the law. Freestar Collective are also referred to as the Freestar Rangers, which I think would be interesting. That's the chance to live a spaced Western fantasy. They're a frontier community that fought for independence from larger United Colonies in the past. Mega Corporation, they represent corporate life. Ryujin Industries, weird job interview to earn yourself the right to get inside. That'll be interesting to figure out. Colonies are the most powerful faction on paper because they represent the future of Space Republic idealized. They are a massive political and military force with their capital, New Atlantis, forming one of the main Starfield cities. Not just the biggest city in Starfield, but apparently the biggest city Bethesda has made, full stop. That's very interesting. And I'm very interested to see that city in game. United Colonies has warred and passed with the Freestar Collective 20 years prior to the game itself and enjoy an uneasy peace. So then we have some other factions that apparently are sub-factions or separate or just smaller, I guess. Ecliptic Mercenaries, they're an mercenary organization enlightened, a religious organization opposed to Sanctum Universum, Great Serpent Faith religious organization with an apparent focus on grav jumping, interesting. House Varun, dangerous fanatical religious zealots, Sanctum Universum religious organization opposed to the enlightened, Spacers, spacefaring raiders. I wonder what the difference is between the Crimson Fleet as pirates and the Spacers. Players will be able to join every major faction. Bethesda were looking to make sure all faction stories can be played independently. Not only that, players will reportedly be able to affect the direction of factions with their choices. Very interesting. Okay, so now we move on to all of the skills that we know about so far. Physical, social, combat, and tech look to be the basic ones. Physical covers elements like carrying capacity and endurance. Social impacts your dialogue options. Combat covers weapon skill, damage, and so on. While science and tech cover things like lockpicking, base building, crafting, spaceship mods, and so on. So then we have some of the some of the skills here: ballistics, demolitions, heavy weapons, marksmanship, particle beams, rapid reloading, sniper certification, targeting. And then leveling up. We already know how the leveling up works. The more that you use it, I actually really like this little octopus with the multiple guns. I think that's kind of cool for ballistics. So that's the skills that we know about so far, I believe. And then we have two more articles. We have backgrounds and then traits. So the background, we have chef starting skills. When you first start to create a character, if you will, you get to choose a background, and we know some of them and their starting skills. So if you choose chef, gastronomy, you can craft food and drink and research additional recipes. Dueling, 10% more melee damage, which is interesting. And wellness, you get extra 30 health points. I bet a lot of people are going to choose that just for the health. Combat medic, you get a pistol certification, medicine, weightlifting. Weightlifting, interesting, extra carry capacity. More room for health packs for medicine, pistol certification, more pistol damage. Cyber runner starting skills, pistol certification as well as security and persuasion, which cyber runner looks like a good, a good way to start off your day, your playthrough. Cyberneticist starting skills, medicine, robotics, lasers, diplomat starting points, persuasion, diplomacy, and bargaining. That could also be a good one. And then others that we know of, but we don't have any specific details, are Beast Hunter, Bouncer, Bounty Hunter will probably be in my thing, Gangster, Homesteader, Industrialist, Long Hauler, Pilgrim, Professor, and Ronin. Don't know what that is, probably something to do with blades, which, if that is true, I don't think there are any melee weapons that have been confirmed for this game. So if you are a Ronin, you can get a katana. You bet that we are going to be getting that weapon. And then we have different traits: alien DNA, dream home, empath, extrovert, freestar collective, settler, hero worshipped, introvert, kid stuff, neon street rat, raised enlightened, raised universal, serpent's embrace, spaced, taskmaster, terra firma, united colonies, native. And then we're going to go into what these different things are. So below alien DNA. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Alien DNA, pros: higher health pool and greater endurance. Cons: healing items are less effective. Starter dream home. Start with a small house, peaceful little moon. You have to pay 50,000 credits. We covered that earlier. Empath trait: forming actions your companion likes creates temporary increased combat effectiveness. If they don't like your actions, it's a decrease. Extrovert: exerting yourself using less oxygen, venturing with human companions. Exerting yourself using more oxygen and venturing alone. What's this? Collective settler: get access to specific dialogue options and rewards. sounds to me like Cyberpunk. Cons, crime bounties towards other factions are greatly increased. Oh, so people can put bounties on you from different factions. That's interesting as well. Hero worshipped, talkative, adoring fan will appear randomly and give you gifts. They will appear randomly. Introvert, greater endurance when venturing alone, less endurance when venturing with other humans, can't be combined with extrovert. Kids stuff, you can visit your parents at their home. Benefits are unknown. 10% of all your money earned is automatically sent to your parents, which that sucks. Neon Street Rat, special dialogue options, better rewards from certain missions from Neon, crime bounty by other factions greatly increased. Enlightened trait, significant discount at Enlightened Organization Store. Lost access to Sanctum Universum Store. Universal trait is the same, but it's the opposite. Serpent's Embrace, grab jumping, provides a boost to health and endurance. They are lowered if you don't grab jump regularly. Spaced trait, health and endurance are increased when in space. Health and endurance are lowered when on the surface. And that's it. That's everything that we know about Starfield. We went through the specifics of everything that we know or knew in general. We went through the specific ship customization. We went through the level system, the leveling difficulty system of the different planets and star systems. We went through the different factions. We went through the skills, the backgrounds, and the traits. And it basically covers everything that we knew and do know now since the gameplay reveal, I think a year or two ago, or earlier this year. So, with that being said, this is everything that we know about Starfield. I'm making this video because I don't want to have to redo this video when the Starfield Direct comes out. That will be like a separate video. It'll be kind of like a part 2 to this. And I don't know exactly when that'll be because there will be an initial reaction video that I do to the Starfield Direct on June 11th, and then it'll take a couple of weeks, maybe a month, to kind of dissect all of the information we get, depending on how long the showcase is. If it's like an hour-long showcase, there will be a lot to dissect and go through. But that is everything we know so far. I will leave the links to all of the articles down in the description down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.